damper and pump diagnostics. So when you look at the pump, the red wires always need to come out the back side of the pump. Both of your tubes will be connected to the back left and the back right. Back left is always pressure, back right is your vacuum. 40 inches minimum for pressure to close dampers. On a Spacepack Unico system, I can close a damper at 2 inches of static with 40 inches of water column, and I can also open it at 35. Those numbers should be well above there. This is bare minimum. So when you look at a good healthy pump, my pressure is probably going to be something like 55, 60, maybe even higher, 65. My vacuum is probably going to be like 55, 60 as well. Two front ports will be open on the old panels. On the new panels, these will now be connected to that little sound attenuating muffler that's behind the main circuit board, but there's really nothing to do there. Solenoids will have a plus common, and then zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Heat Pump Pro, common terminal for the solenoid. Those are all those black wires you see coming in at the top corner of the board. Those are all your solenoid wire connections. The second wire for zone 1 will go to the 1 terminal, second wire for zone 2 to 2, 3, 4. Air boss is really the same. These are all your zone inputs, air boss, zone outputs, and then the row of green LED lights here is what zones are active. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and so on, depending on how many zones you have on the air boss. There is no light for R. So a lot of people will call and get a tech support call, and then you will say, yeah, I have my R light lit, and then I have Y and G. Well, Airboss isn't going to understand it because that's really W1, Y, and G, so it's part of a cooling call and part of a heating call. They don't line up 100%, unfortunately, but this just represents W1, W2, Y1, Y2, G, and then reversing valve. And these don't even line up perfect. MPS board, what zones are active? Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3. You have the out button here, and you have a display select. That is going to navigate you through the different zones in the outputs. To give you an example, this will tell you exactly what either the output to the equipment is, or if I press display select and I light up zone 1, it'll tell me what the input is. If it's showing out, it's the output to the equipment shown on W, Y, G, and O. If I hit display select, it'll take me to Z1. Whatever lights are lit here will be my input from zone 1. If I press display select a second time, my Z2 will illuminate. Whatever is lit here will tell me what, if anything, is coming in from the zone 2 thermostat. And so it's almost like that Heat Pump Pro sequence where it takes you through zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and so on. If any of these lights are lit, these are all fault. So if F1 is lit, that means there's a fault on zone 1, meaning it has maybe a call like YW. All the panels, I will tell you this, with the exception of the Pro panel that's coming out, all of the panels, a cooling call is only Y and G together. Y alone, the panel doesn't know what that is. On old school equipment, if you gave just a Y call to a piece of equipment, you had an ice maker because only your condenser would turn on outside. You would have no fan or blower operating. You needed Y and G for a full cooling call. Today's modern equipment, you can maybe throw a Y at it and it'll be just fine, and both your blower and condenser will come on. But all of the logic, with the exception of the Pro panel that's coming out, all of the logic on these panels requires Y and G to be a cooling call. So if I only power Y on my zone 2 and I have an F2, it's because I don't have Y and G powered. Best way to read relays. Ohms test is really going to be the best way. If you're using a meter with like a audible beep, that is not necessarily going to tell you the condition of the output relay on the board. You may get continuity through it, but you may have 10, 12, 15 ohms resistance. At that kind of ohms resistance, the relay's bad on our board. But your meter will tone out to that and say that you have continuity through those terminals. So you're better off to use a meter, and then that'll give you a better idea of the condition. And then what we're looking for here is less than 1 ohm. So I never, anything point whatever is a good relay on our board. If it ever reads 3 or 5 or anything above 1, we're going to consider that to be a bad relay. Sounding it out with the beeps won't tell you where you're at. So we do recommend using an ohm meter. On the Heat Pump Pro, if you're trying to get any readings on these terminals, you can go in these little semicircle holes that you see right here if your meter leads are small enough. If your meter leads are not small enough, if you go right behind this orange tab, you can touch the metal contact in there and get your voltage reading. Pneumatic troubleshooting. So 0 inches of water column, the damper's in a relaxed position. I need 40 at least to push up on the diaphragm and close this 100%. And I need at least 35 inches of water column. Those are those minimums I gave you from the pump. So you need that as a minimum or greater to open and 40 or greater to close. For testing, if I test right out of the panel, if I have a negative reading, I know this zone that I'm testing is calling because, again, remember, bags blew up, I need pressure to close, bags collapse, I need vacuum. So this zone is calling, this zone is not. If I connect dampers to it, if I tee into this line and I have greater than 35 inches of water column, I know that all the dampers on my zone 1 are good. If I'm testing zone 2 and my zone 2 dampers are not closing and I tee into this line and I only go to 2 inches or 15 inches or 25 inches and it doesn't go any higher than that, I probably have some leaky dampers down the line.
Or
Broken tube, a hole, somebody blasted a zip screw through something, or the cable guy came and put a staple in their tubing. But, you know, those can fail. You could have a damper leak. Now, a way you could go about checking that would be to isolate by pinching the tubing in various places. So if I pinch this line, if the inches of water column does not increase, then this damper is probably not the suspect at large. If I move over to here and I pinch this line, now my pressure starts to climb. What is that telling me? Probably the bad damper. Now, if I had 10 dampers on this line, I could just start out right in the middle. I'm going to pinch off the last 5. If I pinch off the last 5 and it does the same thing this just did, which was increase, so if I reverse that, if I pinch off the last 5 and the pressure all of a sudden skyrockets, I know at that point it's got to be one of my last 5. My first 5 dampers are good. There are 2 types of warranties that are out there. Not all of our panels were warranted with a lifetime warranty. Because of that, I really recommend that you guys give us a call when you have a failure. There's a couple of things that we can get from that. One, it's our only point in time to get real-time information from the field. When that switch started becoming a problem in the field, if we would have just simply waited for distributors to get us boards back and like, hey, all of a sudden I wonder what's wrong with these boards, the whole process to get that fixed and get quality control on it and get the switches replaced would have been prolonged 6, maybe 12 months. Getting phone calls from techs in the field and saying, I'm in front of a panel right now, I can't get it to power up. That put us on the scent trail much quicker, and we were able to resolve this issue much faster and keep up with quality control. The other problem is we have techs and companies out there that have been warranting out, like, yeah, Arzel has a lifetime warranty. I'm going to put in a new board, I'm not even going to charge you. And then they want to get a credit or a board from us in return. They give us a serial number and say, that panel's from like 2003. There was like no lifetime warranty then, I can't help you. So it's best you just give us a call. Again, we're super easy to get a hold of. The response time is super fast. We need the panel serial number. On the old panel, it's going to be inside of the enclosure on the left-hand side. On the new enclosure, I said I wanted it inside the door, so when the door swings open, it's right in front of you. To register the product, the front of the panels, QR code. That'll take you right to the registration. If you do have a warranty, just want you to call the 800 number, try and call from the job site. Don't tell us you already left the job site. We just want to confirm failure with you, get it documented in the system so we can be on top of any growing problems. At that point, we're basically just going to issue a replacement part, send it to you free of charge, or have you swing by here and pick it up, and that's it. There's no claim to file, there's no paperwork to fill out, there's no additional steps you need to make, you just need to replace the failed part.